Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Master, where we rank, review, trailer react, and talk about movies, TV shows, and video games. Now I had to reshoot it thanks to Daddy-O. Yeah, I had to reshoot this, so sorry, yes. I was doing so good. I had to do a retake. Anywho, today I'm going to be ranking all 10 Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts movies, but you already saw that since you read the little tag card on there. But today I'm going to rank all 10 Harry Potter films and both Fantastic Beasts films that have come out so far. And yes, like I said, and yes, I'm saying this, if you guys ask, I have no plans to see Fantastic Beasts 3 and 4 in the cinemas. I will not be seeing those when they come out in cinemas. I'll be watching those later on. I will see the 5th one in cinemas. Me and my mum will do a marathon when we watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beasts 3 and whatever the hell they call it, Fantastic Beasts 4 and whatever the hell that one's called, and Fantastic Beasts 5, where's the finale to the series. And then me and Mama will watch the 8 Harry Potter films that come after it. So yeah. But remember, spoilers for films. These films are very, very special films, and a lot of people have seen them, and a lot of people have not. So just remember, spoiler alert, for movies that are like goddamn 20 years old, goddamn. And yeah, and oh yeah, this is for the films only, so I'm not going to be ranking. The books will get their own separate ranking, so yeah. But anywho, continuing, and remember for last time, this is my opinion, so don't judge me. One video I believe that will probably be very personal, opinionated, is the video Why I Hate Transformers 4, the 4th installment in the Transformers franchise. You want to see that video? It's on my channel. Just press on, there's a little like square button, you press on the corner screen, you flick down to my little banner thingy, little rectangle line thingy, and it has my face, Movie Master, on it. Click on that and you can go scroll one of my videos about a picture, showing a picture of Optimus or something, saying why I hate Transformers 4, and you'll find out why I don't like it. It'd be just me rambling. Continuing, let's start. At number 10 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire film. This is the worstly adapted film in the entire 8 films. I do not like this movie anymore. I do not mind it, but I'd rather watch other movies in the Harry Potter franchise and even Fantastic Beasts films than this one. This one is completely, this is stupid. It's the worst movie out in the entire 8 film series. And a lot of people agree, because the tomato meter and the audience meter on Rotten Tomatoes, the best source in my opinion for critical opinions and personal opinions, has a low score, lower than Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and other installments in the franchise. So yes, this movie is not my favorite one. It does a lot of things that just really piss people off, and and especially fans of the books. It does so many stupid things. There are schools outside of Hogwarts, like Durmstrang, the Bulgarian school Durmstrang, and the French school, and some other nationalities do go to that school, Beauxbatons. And what they do to really offend those book readers, because Mike Newell really wants to do it, they make Beauxbatons a all-girls school and Durmstrang a boys school. This just takes out a bunch of the diversity you see in the books, because we see so much diversity, and it gets all ripped away because of Mike Newell. The director, Mike Newell, in my opinion, is not the best director for this movie franchise. All he's done in the interviews you see him in is complain and say, oh, the book's too long, oh, this stuff is bullshit, oh, this is stupid, yeah. And on the Quidditch scenes, now this is a very common thing Harry Potter book fans and movie fans know about, the Quidditch World Cup. If you've people who've only watched the movie, the Quidditch World Cup gets awesomely dragged out, and then we end when the minister shoots out his wand, and then it just fucking cuts away to Arthur Weasley lighting a little fire, which anybody finds so amusing. In my opinion, Mike Newell, this is what Mike Newell says. I'm not quoting him, but he said basically he cut it because there was no reason for him to do it. Other directors had to do top 1 or 2 scenes of Quidditch. He didn't even do one. Yes, it was good that we didn't do any Quidditch, but at least have one scene of Quidditch in the movie. Because Quidditch, make one scene in Quidditch. That's all we needed. We needed one scene in Quidditch. The first 3 movies gave us Quidditch. The next one doesn't give us Quidditch. The 6th one gives us a shitty scenes of Quidditch. The 7th and 8th have no Quidditch, because, well, it's focused on Harry, Ron, and Hermione. But just give us some Quidditch! That and he gave a it's the fourth bullshit excuse I've heard from a director in my entire life, besides Christopher Columbus saying bullshit reasons about why he cut Peeves the Poltergeist. If you want to know who he is, in the books, Peeves the Poltergeist is a poltergeist who pranks and scares, not really scares, pranks the children and practically just likes to be a jokester. He's afraid of the Bloody Baron and respects Fred and George Weasley, because, well, they're prankers too, so. So, yeah. But besides that, he was sadly cut from the first film. So when you cut stuff from the movies, it ripples in the other films because they can't use it now since it was already cut. And what sucks is that the other directors that come after them do not read the book that they're basing it on. And so yeah, everyone's done the complete shit in this movie. Yes, he's a bit of a bitch and moaning bitch in the book, but not as far as the film makes it out to be. He's a complete asshole. He's very dislikable in that movie, and then suddenly, oh man, he's become so likable. What the fuck, Mike Newell? But anywho, that's what I think of this movie. It's the worst adapted movie in the whole series, and I just gave up about 4 minutes of this video just to tell you how it's not that good. Some people can like it, some people can hate it. I'm just in the middle. I don't care for this movie. I don't mind it, but yeah. The casting for Cedric's perfect, but some things are complete bullshit. And the fact that he cuts the ghosts is just so unfair, man. The first 3 movies, Alfonso Cuarón didn't include the popular ghosts, but he gave us the decency of showing us the good ghosts. Mike Newell, he doesn't even care, because he never finished the entire book. He doesn't include the tiniest things that make the universe so expansive. Like I said, the Durmstrang and Beauxbaton, namings of racial slurs in the book, they take a lot of things. And I know that some movie people and other people think, oh, this is just a tiny thing, it doesn't make it so bad. But let's see, taking out one thing in the movie, and this is common especially when you adapt a book to screen, because unlike you, I actually try and study some movie stuff. When you adapt a book to the big screen, you have to cut something, true. But when you take out things that are so important, that ripple the effect, they change your whole way of seeing a scene. It changes the perspective of everybody. That's just the way it is. I think it's the worstly adapted film in the series. I would love to see an alternate cut, and the deleted scenes all suck. None of them are even in the book. None of those scenes I've seen are anywhere in the book. The first 3 films and the films that come after, these are all scenes that were actually seen in the book. Some of them were. Order of Phoenix is a bit different, but yeah. But yeah. And the book, it's actually quite good. I really like it. The film, not so much. Number 9 is Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. This one is not my favorite, not one of my favorites out of the duology. It's too long, and it feels like it's just a big fat data dump. It's an exposure dump. I like it. It's good. I like enjoying it. I just enjoy it as a movie. But it dumps so much stuff, overloads me. I like the way they end on a cliffhanging note that you have to watch the next movie to find out. I don't believe with everyone over-exaggerating, but there are some continuity issues that make it so hard to try and read it. And especially since J.K. Rowling is a book writer, not a screenwriter. I find it a bit weird that she tries to do screenwriting for films when she's a book writer, not a screenwriter. That's for jobs like Steve Kloves and other writers who can adapt this to the big screen. And yes, you will be seeing a ranking of the books. Not the screenplay, not Fantastic Beasts. Those are exclusively films, not screenplay. I do not count the book versions they show. For another video though. But nonetheless, this film's alright. It recounts a bit of stuff that makes it complete bullshit. Some things can be ignored and winked at. Other things can't be. So yeah. Number 8. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This one is actually quite good. I don't mind it. It's a good for first entry. But these two, I would not watch them even if I was bored. I don't really watch them that much. They don't give me a nostalgia vibe. The first one, I just skipped it. I didn't even know it. I wasn't even really a big Harry Potter fan back then. And by the time I got into Harry Potter when Grindelwald came, I wasn't interested either. These films don't seem to heighten my interest in things. They're kind of very, very, very average movies. They're average. They don't seem to suck me into like how the Harry Potter films did. But yeah, this film's alright. Nothing more I can say about it. It's a good movie. It came out at a good time, and it was decent. And it was cool that it got featured, like I said. Number 7, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This was the first of a two-part film, a two-part ending that was based on the book. The issue with this is that Rowling based it on the hero's story, written by some schmuck I'm going to leave in the description below, where it goes from step 1 to about something, telling us about the story of our hero, that in that case, Harry, going through a journey. Each book shows us this. And this is hard, because when you split that up, it's in half one, because it goes from step 1 to 6 in the one half, and goes from step 7 to whatever the final step is in the second part. This first film was so hard for some fans, a lot of them actually, who were fans of the books and movies, because it left them unsatisfied. Because, well, you're seeing half. It can't function without the other. With the story, it needs its other half. It can't function. It's unsatisfying of an ending. It can't. I like how it's a cliffhanging ending, but it can't function. It needs its second half to function. It needs that other half of its piece. Otherwise, it can't function. So, yeah, and in fact, they were actually going to split up the first book film when they were making it. But Christopher Columbus thought he would be a slave to the source material, and it would just make all the other movies of it a slave to that kind of source material. So he kept it one half. But the decision to split it in half was kept for the rest of the 7, for the rest of about the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. But by the time they got to 7, they decided to chop it in half. Overall, this movie's good. It's a slow-paced movie, but it can't work because it needs its other half. But yeah, it's overall decent. There's some stuff I'd like to be re-included in there. Overall, it's good. Number 6, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is the ending, the finale, the finito to the series. It's awesome. It's action-packed. It's amazing. There are some things I don't really like about it, but it's an awesome film. You got action. You got you got character development. You got Voldemort. You got Horcruxes. You got references to 6 movies that came before it. 7 if you count Deathly Hallows Part 1. And it gives us an amazing ending. It gives us action, suspense, thrill, and satisfying scene of Hermione and Ron finally getting together. Although I wish we got the book version, but sadly, Spew or whatever the hell it's called, the book was cut from the fourth one. Fuck you, mate. But yes, Deathly Hallows Part 2 was a great ending, and I loved the epilogue. The epilogue, when I read the chapter in the book, it felt just like the book, and I think I like it. And another fact is that when Rowling was writing the book series of Harry Potter, she did write the epilogue. The epilogue you see in the book and you see in the film was written at the start, and she left it as a goal that one day she would get to the epilogue. And she also had an alternate ending. For those who read the books, it was going to show a graduation scene where they would all graduate and fly over the water. So luckily Harry and Ron would have been at that scene. But yeah, the epilogue scene was better. It shows us what they're doing nowadays. And yeah. And also Movie Flame, if those who do not know who are Harry Potter fans, he's a very popular Harry Potter YouTuber. He says that the 19-year time gap, 19 years later, is in 2019. It is not. I've counted it. If you count it from 1996 or 1997 or 1998, it's 2017 or 18. It's not 2019. I've counted it. Because you go from 1998, so 1999, 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And if you count from 1997 onwards, it's 2018. So it's not 2019 for those, just to clarify, where it's set in 2017. That's when the flash forward is set in 2017. And realistically, about in that time, I was 10 years old. In real life, I was 10 years old at the time. But yeah, this film's awesome. You got a finale, and the one nitpick is Voldemort's death. He dies like a god. He should have died like a human, because, well, in the book, he just, after killing him, he is embarrassed. He falls to the ground in front of a bunch of people. He was embarrassed, and he falls to the ground like a human. Him dying like a god just makes him seem like he was a being, a special being. Because the books, the way Rowling wrote it, it made it good. Because no matter how much he tried to make it that he was special and a god, like how the film killed him off, he was just a human. Because at the core of him, no matter how much he wanted to know and accept it, and push his body to the limits, and what he did, he was just a human. But nonetheless, this movie's good, and a lot of fans of the books and movies are probably going to be curious as to why this one's so high up on the list. That is number 5, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This one is one of my favorite of the movies to watch. The lightheartedness is a bit odd, because if you watch this after Order of the Phoenix, one of the best movies in the franchise, it's a bit off-branded because it's more colorful and a bit more lighthearted. It's weird because it's trying to if you watch the movie, it's trying to crash the dark and scary tone that the last film had and the books have, but clash it with the lightheartedness that the first 2 films have, which really doesn't work. There's better ways to conclude it. And he tried to make this comedy. David Yates is not a comedy director. You can see by the next 2 films he doesn't bother including comedy. He puts comedy in the wrong places. He puts them in the tense moments, or includes them in areas where they don't need to be included. So yes, and in my opinion, including characters like Pease the Poltergeist, which I talked about in another area of the list, and including ghosts and all that, and including more laughable jokes, that would be better. That's the only issue I have with this film. A lot of people do not like the romantic part of the film. They find it a big issue because, yes, they did cut a lot of Voldemort scenes. Behind the scenes, David Yates was pushing for more comedy and romance, whilst Steve Kloves wanted them to explore Voldemort's past. Because if you read the book, we get to see about 7 or 8 memories of Voldemort's past and how he became to be. We see about 2 or 3 of those in the actual film. So those who see the films, we don't really get much of backstory on Voldemort. Which is really suckful because the next 2 films focus heavily on Voldemort. Which is what I think Rowling was trying to convey. The first 5 books don't really talk about Voldemort. The first one, he's the villain. The second one, he's the villain. He's just as a flashback villain. The third one, he's mentioned in the films. The fourth one, he comes back to life and is a bit of a villain. The fifth one, he's a villain. But the sixth film and book is where we finally get his backstory. We get more to know about him. Why was he, how he was when he was a young boy, how he was manipulative, how he was a jerk to people, how he started as Death Eaters. None of this is shown in the film because all they were focusing on was the romantic part of it. I don't mind that personally, but if you're trying to adapt this, they should have just made a Harry Potter comedy, a comedy film with all the characters from Harry Potter in a romantic version, like the entire cast of Harry Potter as a Harry Potter movie, but as a separate film entity, a romantic, lighthearted comedy film. That would be better. I would not like a film with just all the actors from Harry Potter, just like a standalone film in Harry Potter that's after the events of the Half-Blood Prince film. That's a romantic comedy. But yeah, I love the romance, especially for Hermione and Ron, because it finally humanizes Hermione, because we rarely saw that in the movies. In the movies, she's apparently a flawless, confident person. I don't mind that they were trying to appeal to the audiences, but making her Steve Kloves again is another issue with just making her a flawless person is so unrealistic. I loved how she was portrayed in the books. I think what they should have done is made her unconfident and shy in the first few films, but slowly in the third and fourth and later films, she becomes more confident. We get more confident, and she becomes more popular over the stage of those 8 films among her students, and she has her buck teeth and bushy hair. They did try to do this, but it was hard for Emma Watson. She was around 9 and 10 at the time, so I'm not surprised this would have been a bit frustrating for her as an actress. And she is the youngest out of the 3 actors. Rupert Grint and Daniel Radcliffe were both about 10 when they got the roles, and Emma Watson was 9. There's a fascinating story behind that, which you can find on the internet. But overall, I like it because it humanizes Hermione. It shows her having emotions of jealousy, anger, sadness, crying. It shows her doing a lot of humanizing things that really human her character. And it shows her being awkward around other people. It shows her actually being, it shows her truth. It shows her more inner strength and inner struggles she faces. The film's alright. It's a bit mungled-jungled, but overall, I think I do give Steve Kloves props for trying to include more flashbacks, and give really not that much good praise for Dave Yates to try and make it humorous. He should have had that piece actor trying to make it. They should have consulting directors who come in as comedy, because they can include comedy. That's kind of their job. They inject some horror comedy in there. I was supposed to try and make a sound like this. Yeah. But continuing, Number 4 is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. This film is the start of the 8-movie franchise. It's magical, it's wondrous, it's so kiddish. But if you rewatch it as much times as I have and many other people, you kind of lose the magic. And when you read the book, you kind of lose more magic. So yeah, I just prefer to not really rewatch this too much because I just loses the magic. There are some versions of the Harry Potter films where it doesn't lose its magic. I just feel nostalgia after nostalgia. Hey, beating me in the chest. Nicely and softly. But this film's good. The acting's a bit choppy, but I don't give it too harsh to them. They were like 9 and 10, and like, yeah. Some performances are better than others. Seamus Finnegan is really, really terrible, in my opinion. Neville Longbottom's actually quite good. Hermione's really good for someone who was 10, 11, 9, 10, and 11 at the time of filming. Daniel Radcliffe's alright. Rupert Grint is actually, in my opinion, the best actor. And yes, I do know how they did Ron dirty. I'm going to explain it more this time. What sucks is that this was setting up the 8-movie franchise. Or 7 or 8 movie, because he knew he had to set this up. They did Ron so much dirty. For Movie Flame to say that they cut a lot about his character was a big fucking understatement, because he is the most underrated character in the entire franchise. Considering the fact that he's one of the 3 core characters in the books and movies, makes me question what the fuck was going on behind the scenes. I watched some clips. I just watch Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, and Rupert Grint goof off because they are so adorable as children. I'm not joking. If you watch behind the scenes, it's so goddamn adorable. Children, man. Children are fucking adorable. Some children. But nonetheless, this film is good. But making Hermione flawless and making Harry and Ron look dumb and making it just be the solving thing of everything in all 8 movies is some of the nitpicks I have. And yeah, I was very disappointed that they treat Ron dirty like that. Now realizing it. But the bloody hell thing, that's one thing I wish the books had. That's one thing I love the films doing. But the way they just treat a character is so unfair. I mean, his character, Ron's character, is so unfairly done. But yes. And there is something I'm going to relate to this about the books and movies at the end of the video. But number 3, that's the last 3, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This one bumps up the mystery, and it's so underrated. This movie is not given the appreciation it is deserved. Not that many people talk about it, which is unfair and sad. We never get talk about this movie. Some people, it's defined as the most underrated movie. No, I think defining it as the movie no one likes is a bit unfair and harsh on the part of the filmmakers. But saying that no one likes it is just unfair. I think Goblet of Fire would deserve that one. The one that people don't really know about is better to call it, because it's not really known. And the book is actually really good. The book and film for the first 2 are both really good books. They're both really good movies, and I really like the extension we get, because since the first film introduced us to the Wizarding World, we don't have to just get introduced to all of this. You just get smack damn right into the middle of the story. You get put into the story already. You are just automatically in the story. You are automatically injected, and we get more explanation on the story of Harry Potter and the world around him. Although, like I said, they did Ron dirty again in this one. Not as guilty as the first one, but still guilty enough. Gave him so much dirt, and the third film just even does it more, in my opinion. But, getting to that one later. But Harry Potter, it's overall, this movie's great. I love it. I find it the most underrated film, and I would watch this, I would not mind watching this regularly. It's a fun movie. I like it more than the first one. I don't like it as much as the next movie that comes after it. I like it more than the Goblet of Fire, and the Deathly Hallows 2-parter, and the Fantastic Beasts movies. So yeah, I like this one. It's good. I love it. And number 2, this one's scratching, but due to nostalgia, it was scratching. It was like beating for the nostalgia, but knocked off the road because of another movie higher above it. If you've kept track of what movies I've ranked, you know what's up number 1. Number 2 is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is the best in my opinion out of the 8 films book to movie adaptation. In my opinion, Harry Potter, well, actually no, we better talk about that later. This is the best book to film adaptation out of the 8 film series. They cut the right things, they keep the right things. And in my opinion, it's such a great story it's a story about characters, and it doesn't explore the world, because we've had four movies developing the world. The first movie introduces us to this world, because that was its job. The second movie, it explores and expands this world. The third film reintroduces us to this world. The fourth one, well, didn't really do that much. It was supposed to expand upon it. It didn't really do that well. It was supposed to expand upon the other wizarding schools, which the book did, but the film did not do it all. God damn you, Mike Newell. This film, it talks at the characters. Harry is really well done. The connection between Harry and Voldemort. It's so very, very satisfying watching him struggle and win his battle against Voldemort, but at so much of a cost. I am very sad that due to the runtime, we never see Harry grieve. Now, this is the very most commonplace deleted scene. Harry is grieving up in the Gryffindor dormitories, and Ron comes up to comfort him, and he says no. Find the clip on YouTube. It's just so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching to you. It's just so sad that, yeah, we never get to see him grieve in the film. We only get to see that. If you add this deleted scene of him grieving and another version and an alternate version of it, if you merge that together and then merge it with the other scenes of him grieving, it's such a powerful scene, in my opinion, and it would have been so knocking, because then slowly we would have drifted out of the sadness, because we never get to see him grieve. So yeah, had they included that, I think they would have included that in alternate cuts though. So I might try and find those. But yeah, this movie is amazing. It's a story about people. It's the best one, in my opinion. It's not my favorite, but it's the best one. It's one of the best ones, and I think it really touches the story of people. It talks about the people. It really explores the world about the people in the Wizarding World and who inhabits it. It really looks into the characters of who inhabit the Wizarding World rather than the world around them, which is unique for a film of Harry Potter. Now, number one is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is my favorite film in the 8-movie franchise. I find it the best, in my opinion. It has its flaws. The only issue is I really wish they put in the Marauders map film. Marauders map. And number two, they do Ron dirty again. Ron is done dirty again in this movie. This is just unfair. I don't like why Ron's done so dirty in these movies. It's so unfair to the actor. It's so unfair to the character. It's so unfair to the books, in my opinion, that Ron was done dirty in this franchise. That's only the most underrated character. Like how so Chamber of Secrets is the most underrated movie. The most underrated character is Ron. He's the most underrated character. Because, well, the big obvious is that, yes, there are ones like Ginny and all that, but she was the most ruined character, in my opinion. Well, no, really. Cho Chan was the most ruined character, and one of the most disrespected character was just Ginny Weasley. The one that was the most done dirty was Ron. He was done dirty the most out of all these characters. A big scene is when in the film Hermione says when Sirius Black in the film when they reach the Shrieking Shack, they find Sirius Black, and Hermione gets in front and says, if you want to kill Harry, you're gonna have to kill us too, which is just so unfair, because Ron does that with a broken leg. He'll do that with a broken leg because it shows how much of a good friend he is. And J.K. Rowling really wanted to emphasize that with the books. Show how strong of a friend Ron was. This was to symbolize that in real life, J.K. Rowling had a very supportive friend next to his side, her side, that Ron is based on. And the vehicle Ron drove in the second book and film is actually based on a real car, the Ford Anglia, the blue and white Ford Anglia. But overall, yeah, it's just done dirty, and I really don't like how they show the loyalty, but jealous but loyal, but they show the jealousy and loyalty, but I wish they put more of an emphasis on it. What sucks is that in real life they had to write essays on their characters. Emma Watson turned in a 16-page one. Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry, turned in a 1-page version of where they wanted the character to go. That Rupert Grint didn't turn in one at all. I think Alfonso Cuarón, who directed the film, should have used Creative Camera Works and used nice log takes, but he should have, in my opinion, he should have read the book just to do this. And in my opinion, he's one of the better directors. The only director I think that beats him is Christopher Columbus, who is the best director of all of them, because he really wrote and understood the characters and knew how to do every scene. And he would be in second place as one of the best directors. Third would be David Yates, due to his issues with the Blood Prince and some other things. And yeah. And in my opinion, he really pushed actors to their limits, as an actor. Whilst Christopher Columbus kind of taught them how to act and expanded on how to do their acting skills, he morely tried to make them really, really dig deep into their acting skills to try and improve on them, which is what I really think was good. And what David Yates was trying to do was trying to give us a great performance to look great for the film and make it look really good. Mike Newell, well, yeah, he was just there to earn money from Warner Brothers, so yeah. Please do not hope that Mike Newell was producer on the next movie. Please hope he was so horrible as the director. But nonetheless, this third film is one of my favorites, and it remains my favorite. But nonetheless, that is all 10 Harry Potter and both Fantastic Beasts films ranked from worst to best. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and yeah, this is an amazing franchise, and I cannot wait to see what the Fantastic Beasts turn out in the future. And maybe one day we might get an adaptation of The Cursed Child. Not because I actually want to read the book. I'm never going to read that piece of garbage. Yes, I do not like The Cursed Child. You want to see a review on that? Go to Movie Flame. And expect a ranking of the books. And now get to the thing that I was going to get to. This is not the best book-to-movie adaptation. It's the second best. It does good things, but it cuts some of the movies cut things that really are integral to the future films. And a lot of them can't really do a lot of good things. One thing I liked about Harry Potter, though, is that Prisoner of Azkaban could stand on its own. The only two films, in my opinion, that can literally stand on their own is the first film, because, well, it's the first film, and Prisoner of Azkaban. He built it to stand on its own. He showed stuff like how dangerous the Whomping Willow is and many other things. The second film can't stand on its own. It builds on heavily from events of the first film. The fourth film, no, it builds on the first three films. The fifth film, again, builds on the four films. Sixth film builds on the first five. The seventh, first six films. The eighth obviously has the build from the seventh and the earlier from the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and the 6 other movies. It has the build upon each movie. The third movie can stand on its own. You can just enjoy it as a standalone film. Which is one of those rare occasions. Iron Man 3 cannot work as a standalone movie. Because, well, it does tear down Iron Man to be a singular character, but it just makes other things make it a worthless movie, in my opinion, to watch. And I do not know how this thing got like $1 million at the box office. And I prefer to watch Jon Favreau's Iron Man 2. The director they got was amazing, but they stripped away a lot what made Iron first two movies so good, in my opinion. So, yeah. But yeah, like I said, the best book-to-movie adaptation would be Diary of a Ever Wimpy Kid. This book follows the series of Greg Cafferly, a kid who goes through the life of middle school while trying to go through other things like love, friendship, and selfishness as a selfish kid, and goes through many different things. So far, there are 15 books in the series, 2 behind-the-scenes books, and a spin-off series that I'm now going to have to buy. God damn me. But anywho, continuing, the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books did the best thing. They cut the right things, they kept the right things, and they, in my opinion, chose great actors. Because even if you read the books with images, I can just imagine the actors being these characters. And the final thing with Harry Potter. A lot of people say you should read the books, watch the movies. That is not a good idea, in my opinion. People can do it. You can do this way. You can read the books and watch the movies. But here's how I think you do it. You watch the movies, read the books. If you watch the movies, you get an image in your head. You watch the movies, you see images. When I read Harry Potter, the books, I see Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. With green eyes, except Rupert Grint as Ron Weasley with a more shorter, with a more taller stature. And I see Emma Watson as Hermione with buck teeth and bushy hair. That's what I see when I watch that movie. When I read the books, I see that image. I see Richard Harris and Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. I see whoever the hell played James Lily. I see Alan Rickman as a younger version of Severus Snape. Is a younger looking version of Severus Snape. I see Gary Oldman as Sirius Black. Whoever the hell plays Remus Lupin. Warwick Davis, who plays Professor Flitwick and Griphook. Whoever the hell played Robbie Coltrane, who plays Hagrid. I can see all of them pictured crystal clear in my head. But overall, yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, in my opinion, is the best book-to-movie adaptation, and it's my favorite book series. Harry Potter would be second, and the worst book-to-movie adaptation would be... Oh, there's too many to count. There are some other good ones, like decent ones, like Narnia and Shadow Hunters. Anywho, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, there's just like, and click the notification bell, wherever the hell that thing is. I think it's like, depending on what version you're on of YouTube. But yeah, make sure to look out for my next video, whatever the hell that is, and Yeah, I'm gonna come back later without this red part of my lip and without black stains without black marks on my eyes. See you guys later. Ciao.